All right, all right. Let's get into this. Where you at? Where you at? Salute to everybody, man. If you're really rocking with the game, is your boy, your blood partner, King Supreme, Gucci Mane, in POOH SHIESTY. The situation gets ugly. Tap on in for the festivities. Tap on in for the show. You already know, King Supreme, you in the right place to be. You, and you. Let's set the record straight. Let's get started. We back to back with the content, man. You know, Kenny Mack, Washington, D.C., tapping in. It is time to get it in. Indubitably, indeed, giving you what you need, bringing you up to speed with the content. Daily conversations on King Supreme TV. PG County to LA. Shout out to my brothers out there in PG County. You heard me? I appreciate you all for tapping in. Money, man. Afro Merchant. This ain't about no player Haitian or no holleration. Let's get the situation flowing. Let's get the conversation going. You dig? Yeah, yeah. Giving you the real, the truth is a bitter pill. A Seal 95. You already know how we do it, bro. We are live. Make sure that you support the content when you tap on in. The likes are free. Unfortunately, we got a lot of gossipers and hate watchers. Unfortunately, we got a lot of gossipers and hate watchers who be watching the channel. The truth is way more than you can handle. Watching from Duval, shout out to Florida. Florida is with me. Florida is with the business. I appreciate Florida. I got love for Florida. It's a beautiful state with a lot of beautiful cities, beautiful women, beautiful weather, beautiful beaches. You gotta love the state of Florida. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's lovely. Sipping on champagne, sipping on that bubbly. Mm-hmm. Let's take it from the top. Now, you know Keisha Kayor, Gucci's wife. Keisha Kayor goes in on POOH SHIESTY for her baby, her husband, Gucci. You heard me? Now, people were saying Keisha Kayor slept with Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti and Gucci used to be friends, but they fell out over Keisha Kayor. Word on the streets. Is it true? I don't know. But that's what people are saying. They're saying that she was with Yo Gotti before she got with Gucci. They saying that she slept with Yo Gotti when Gucci was in prison. Is it true? I don't know. Maybe you guys can fill me in on some of that information. Yo Gotti said that he smashed Keisha Kayor way before Gucci married her. Gucci and Yo Gotti used to be homies. They fell out over Keisha Kayor. Word on the streets. Hit that like button. It ain't nothing. It ain't going to cost you no money. I know we got a lot of gossipers and hate watchers, but make sure that you do so with the like button. Let's dive into the conversation. Shout out to Rap Dynasty for bringing this content. I'm going to give my commentary.
Down from the beginning. Before we get into the drama, fam, we gotta establish who this woman really is. Because a lot of people sleep on Keisha Kayor, and that is a serious mistake. People see her as Gucci's wife and stop right there. They don't do their research. They don't know the full picture. And if you don't know the full picture, you can't understand why this story hits different. This is not just a rapper's wife. This is not just the woman standing in the background looking pretty at award shows. Keisha Kayor, born Keisha Watson, originally from Jamaica, built a multi-million-dollar empire completely from scratch. We're talking Kayor Cosmetics, Kayor Fitness, Kayor Hair, and Wobster's Closet, a designer clothing resale site she co-owns with Gucci. By 2017, just 7 years after launching her first business, her companies were already valued at $30 million. $30 million. She did that herself. No label deal, no feature, no famous last name at the time, just straight business sense and relentless execution. And how did Kaoir Cosmetics even start? Because she couldn't find a blue lipstick she liked, so she made her own by mixing blue eyeshadow with lip gloss. Her friends told her she'd get clowned for it. She ignored every single one of them. Now that same bold, unconventional brand has been rocked by Teyana Taylor, Trina, Nicole Snooki Polizzi. Real names, real endorsements. She met Gucci back in 2010 after he saw her as eye candy
Now,
of the
she's from Jamaica, man. Jamaica, the roughest, toughest Jamaican dandada. Nobody grinds harder than a roughest, toughest Jamaican dandada. Keisha KR is from Jamaica. Gucci, man, is a foundational Black American. Let's get into the content. Yeah, man. Smoking on a blunt, me say me smoking him like a blunt. Smoking him like a blunt, me say me giving him what he want. Smoking him like a blunt, me say me smoking him like a blunt. Smoking him like a blunt, me say me giving him what he want. Jamaica, man.
Year in XXL magazine. And Gucci, this man was gone on sight, like immediately, head gone. But Keisha, she was hesitant, gang. She wasn't just throwing herself at the biggest rapper in Atlanta. She made him work for it. She sat down and told Fader that she was initially reluctant to even go out with him. And honestly, that right there tells you everything about who she is. She doesn't move off emotion. She moves strategically. They dated through his legal troubles, through multiple prison sentences, through all the chaos that comes with being Gucci Mane. And on October 17, 2017, they made it official in Miami, a wedding that reportedly cost $1.7 million, with BET footing the bill and filming a 10-part wedding special called The Main Event.
Hey, yeah, man, that's that Spiggity One, man. You already know that Spiggity One. You know I got some OGs in the chat if you recognize that Spiggity One. Smoking him like a blunt, me see me. Smoking him like a blunt. Smoking him like a blunt, me see me. Giving him what you want. The roughest, toughest Jamaican dandada. No one grinds harder.
They got 2 kids together. Son Ice Davis, born December 2020. Daughter Iceland Kawar Davis, born February 2023. This is a woman who has been all in on Gucci Mane through the absolute worst of times, and that matters more than people realize. Okay, so here's where it starts getting deep, fam, and I need y'all to really lock in for this part because this is the foundation of the entire story we're telling today. Gucci Mane, one of the most legendary names in trap music, one of the literal pioneers of an entire genre that changed hip-hop forever, has been dealing with some very serious mental health battles behind closed doors. Battles that most people didn't fully understand until recently. In his 2025 autobiography, Gucci publicly revealed that he has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia.
They said Keisha KR manages the money. She manages Gucci. She said Gucci, all Gucci got to do is go to the studio and rap. She gonna handle the business. She gonna handle the money. She's gonna make sure that Gucci takes his medication. She's gonna make sure that Gucci works out and stays healthy. Keisha KR says she takes care of everything. All Gucci Mane got to do is sit up there and go to the studio and rap. When it comes to the bread, the money, the business, the finances, Keisha gonna take care of everything. Yeah. Make sure that you bless that like button.
Let that sink in for a real second. This man built an empire, signed artists who went on to become legends themselves, changed the culture permanently. And he was doing all of that while fighting that internally every single day. And when things get bad, when Gucci starts having episodes and the world can't know about it, there is one person who steps in and takes complete control. Keisha KR. She sat down on The Breakfast Club and got brutally honest about exactly what she does when she sees Gucci going through it. And what she described was both wild and, if you really think about it, the most ride or die thing I have ever heard from a partner in this industry. She said the first thing she does when an episode starts coming on is she goes straight for his phone, deletes Instagram, deletes everything, every single app gone. And if she has to change his passwords to make sure he can't get back on, she's changing the passwords, no hesitation, because she said she is not about to let the public see her husband in a vulnerable state. She is physically cutting off his access to the outside world to protect him.
She's cutting his access off to the outside world. Keisha feels like she got to protect Gucci for himself, protect Gucci from the industry. She must show Gucci how to manage the money, how to manage his mental health. Keisha Kayor said she saved Gucci when he was drowning. Nobody in the industry gave a damn about him. She helped him to flip his money. She helped him to manage his weight, his health, his physical health, as well as his mental health. Keisha Kayor says she came in to save Gucci when he was drowning, serving time in prison. She's the only one that ever gave a damn about him for real. None of his homies gave a damn. None of his family gave a damn. She's the only one that helped Gucci in his time of need. Word on the streets. Is it true? I don't know. But let's go. Let's get into the content.
Streets got a lot of feelings about this. Some people hear that and say that's the definition of a real one. Somebody who loves you enough to protect through it. And what she described was both wild and, if you really think about it, the most ride or die thing I have ever heard from a partner in this industry. She said the first thing she does when an episode starts coming on is she goes straight for his phone, deletes Instagram, deletes everything, every single app gone. And if she has to change his passwords to make sure he can't get back on, she's changing the passwords, no hesitation, because she said she is not about to let the public see her husband in a vulnerable state. She is physically cutting off his access to the outside world to protect him. Now, the streets got a lot of feelings about this. Some people hear that and say that's the definition of a real one. Somebody who loves you enough to protect you from yourself when you can't do it. Others say that's a level of control that raises eyebrows. But here's what I say, and keep this in the back of your mind for everything that comes after. If Keisha Kayor already controls what Gucci sees, what Gucci posts, what Gucci says publicly during his most vulnerable moments, then you best believe she has serious influence over what happens when the man she loves gets disrespected.
Keisha Kayor has major influence over Gucci's decision making. She manages the money. She manages his weight, his physical health, his mental health. Keisha Kayor manages Gucci. She takes care of everything. She said all Gucci got to do is go rap in the studio. She going to take care of everything. So, of course, she's going to have a major influence on Gucci's decision making. Bless that damn like button.
At the highest possible level. And on January 10th, 2026, Gucci Mane got disrespected in a way that nobody in this industry has ever seen before. To understand how wild this whole situation is, fam, we gotta go back. Because Gucci Mane and POOH SHIESTY, this was not just a label deal, this was supposed to be family. Gucci signed POOH SHIESTY to 1017 Records back in 2020. POOH was a young Memphis kid with serious buzz building online. Songs like At It Again and Main Slime were already catching traction and people could see the potential. Gucci saw it too and brought him on.
Afro Merchant said if a ninja did that to his woman, they would call him controlling. They would say that he's controlling that woman. Well, if she's managing Gucci, he's healthy, he's in good physical health, he's in good mental health, all based on the fact that his wife is managing him. I don't know what to say. I can't say that she's wrong. Now, if Gucci is capable of doing this himself, then yes, Gucci needs to do it. But if he can't do it without his wife, then I can't be mad at the situation. Maybe Gucci needs somebody to manage him, and maybe who's better than that than his wife? She says she got to manage Gucci's emotions. She got to manage Gucci's money. She got to monitor what Gucci is eating. Yeah. Keisha Kayor is the real boss. Let me say this again. Keisha Kayor is the real boss behind the scene. Yeah, she's the boss woman. She the boss chick. She gonna sit up there and control everything. Yeah.
All the way in. Took him under his wing the same way he's done with so many artists throughout his career. Young Thug will tell you. Waka Flocka will tell you. When Gucci believes in you, he goes all in. And it wasn't just about cutting checks and putting his name on features. Gucci gifted POOH SHIESTY a custom slime green Jeep Trackhawk. We talking 6 figures minimum, probably more with customization, just to celebrate the success of his debut mixtape SHIESTY season. On video, POOH SHIESTY was completely caught off guard. Emotional, grateful. He called Gucci his dog, his big homie. He said, "I love this dude, WAP," on camera for the world to see. SHIESTY season debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200, 62,000 album equivalent units in the first week. The kid was a star, and Gucci had helped make that happen. Real recognize real, right? That's what we thought. But here's what was going on underneath the surface while all that was playing out publicly. POOH SHIESTY caught a 63-month federal sentence, 5 years plus, for a shooting at a hotel in Florida. He went in, did his time in a Pennsylvania federal prison, and Gucci Mane, to his absolute credit, publicly confirmed after POOH's release that he was still signed to 1017, held his spot, kept the door open. That's loyalty in its purest form. POOH SHIESTY got out of federal prison in October 2025. Fresh release, new start. The culture was hyped to see what he was going to do next. He still had his spot. He still had his label. He had every reason to come back and build something even bigger than before. But POOH SHIESTY apparently had a completely different plan. And that plan started with luring his label boss to Dallas. This is the part, gang. Buckle up because I'm going to walk you through this moment by moment. This is where everything changed.
POOH SHIESTY mama said, you need to confront Gucci. You need to get your daddy in Big 30 and confront Gucci about your money. You need to show Gucci that, us people in South Memphis is with the business. You need to confront him. That's what Mama SHIESTY said. Mama SHIESTY said, you need to confront Gucci. Go and get your daddy in Big 30 and confront Gucci about your damn money. Shout out to Mama SHIESTY. Bless that like button if you haven't already.
Got out of federal prison in October 2025. Fresh release, new start. The culture was hyped to see what he was going to do next. He still had his spot. He still had his label. He had every reason to come back and build something even bigger than before. But POOH SHIESTY apparently had a completely different plan. And that plan started with luring his label boss to Dallas. This is the part, gang. Buckle up because I'm going to walk you through this moment by moment. This is where everything changed permanently. January 10th, 2026, Dallas, Texas, a recording studio. 3 music industry professionals, including the owner of 1017 Records, which we all understand to be Gucci Mane, received an invitation to come to Dallas for a business meeting, a legitimate professional music industry meeting to discuss contract terms. Nothing suspicious on the surface. Artists and label executives have these kinds of conversations all the time.
POOH SHIESTY, when you get out of jail, you need to confront Gucci. You need to get your daddy and Big 30 and confront him about your money. We from South Memphis. We with the business. Confront Gucci about your money. Get your daddy in Big 30. Y'all need to go up there and confront him. That's how it be happening. That's how it be happening.
So Gucci and his people got on a plane and
Gucci Mane stole 20 million from my baby. Don't let Gucci steal your money. Gucci then stole 25 million from my baby, POOH SHIESTY. You need to go up there and confront him. And that's exactly what happened. They went up there to confront him, robbed Gucci for the jury, forced Gucci to sign the contract. You need to confront Gucci about your money. You need to sit up there and take your daddy and Big 30. Confront Gucci. You need to get your money. That's words of Mama SHIESTY.
Flew to Dallas. They had absolutely no idea what was waiting for them inside that studio. According to the Department of Justice, POOH SHIESTY personally arranged this meeting. He set the location, he set the time, he invited the guests, and according to federal prosecutors, the entire thing was a setup from the jump. Because once those 3 men were inside that studio, once those doors closed behind them, POOH SHIESTY and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom had traveled specifically from Memphis, Tennessee for this, executed what prosecutors described as a coordinated armed takeover. Let me give you the play-by-play because the details are important. POOH SHIESTY requested a private conversation with the label owner. POOH SHIESTY requested a private conversation with the label owner, just a one-on-one. Pull him to the side. Gucci goes into the recording room thinking he's about to have a private business conversation. But inside that room waiting for him were also POOH's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., and rapper Big 30, whose real name is Rodney Wright Jr. So immediately, it's not what Gucci expected. It's 3 against 1 in a closed room. POOH SHIESTY then produced contract termination paper.
Ain't no way I would have been in there by myself. I'm talking to POOH SHIESTY. If POOH SHIESTY brought his daddy in Big 30. You want to talk to me, POOH SHIESTY, you speak to me one-on-one. Tell your daddy in Big 30 to wait outside the room. I'm going to be up in there with my damn goons if I'm Gucci. I'll never sit up there and trust a dude with the name of SHIESTY who just got out of prison. Never trust a dude with the name of Grimy. Never trust a dude with the name of SHIESTY. Gucci should have had his goons in the damn room. You got Big 30 and POOH SHIESTY's daddy. They got you at gunpoint, forcing you to sign the contract. Gucci should have had his goons in there with him. Yeah. Make sure you bless that like, but me a damn fool.
Work right there on the spot. He wanted out of 1017 Records, and he wanted Gucci to sign him free right then and there. Gucci said no. They argued. Words got exchanged. And this is the moment that changed everything. POOH SHIESTY pulled out an AK-style pistol. Family, an AK-style pistol, on the man who signed him, on the man who bought him a six-figure Jeep, on the man who kept his record deal alive while he was in prison. He held that gun on Gucci Mane and forced him to sign the release form at gunpoint. And then, after Gucci signed his own name under duress with a weapon in his face, POOH SHIESTY took his wedding ring right off his finger, the watch off his wrist, his earrings, his cash.
I didn't sit up there and took you out of poverty. Now you gonna rob me? You gonna bring your daddy and Big 30 and rob me out of my jewelry, force me to sign a contract, to sign you out of the contract at gunpoint. I took you out of poverty and you gonna sit up there and rob me? Now Gucci has a decision to make. They're gonna tell Gucci, if you don't testify, POOH SHIESTY gets out of the contract. You lose millions. If you want to protect your business, you got to testify and say that the only reason you signed this contract is because they held you at gunpoint. Who did it? POOH SHIESTY, his daddy, and Big 30. If you don't testify, he's going to walk away scot-free out of that damn contract. You better testify if you want to protect your damn money. That's exactly what the feds is going to tell Gucci. Yeah.
Stripped him completely in that room, and while that was going down in the back, the 8 co-conspirators had the other 2 victims out front, guns out, robbing them too. And one of those victims, one of Gucci's people, was choked to the point of near unconsciousness. One defendant physically blocked the studio door with his body to make sure nobody could run or call for help. This was a hostage situation, gang. A full coordinated hostage situation inside a Dallas recording studio. And on that same day, as this was allegedly happening to her husband, SHIESTY was on Instagram promoting her body cleanse products. She had zero idea what was going down. Zero. Imagine being that woman and finding out later what happened to your husband. That now here's where people started really connecting the dots, and this is where the story goes from wild to absolutely fascinating from a tactical standpoint. January 10th came and went, and at first, Gucci said nothing publicly. The robbery rumors started circulating online, and Gucci actually posted a photo on Instagram showing off his jewelry and his loose leaf pack like nothing happened. A lot of people in the comments thought it was him clapping back at the rumors, saying it was cap, and the internet kind of moved on. But the feds were not moving on, because POOH SHIESTY made one catastrophic mistake on top of all the others. Actually, he made several. He was on home confinement at the time of the alleged robbery. He had an electronic ankle monitor on his leg. The specific terms of his home detention said he could not commit another federal offense and could not possess a firearm. These were the explicit—
You better go up there and confront Gucci about your money. Take your daddy and Big 30. Gucci needs to give you your money. That's what Mama SHIESTY said. POOH SHIESTY had a bunch of ghetto people in his ear convincing him that this was a great idea to take his daddy and Big 30 and force Gucci to get him up out of that contract. You sit up there and confront Gucci about your money. Take your daddy and Big 30 to do it. They convinced POOH SHIESTY that this was a great idea. Somehow they believed that they would get away with it. You better confront Gucci. He needs to give you your money. Gucci didn't sit up there and steal 25 million. Now, we all know that Mama SHIESTY doesn't understand business. She's a ghetto hood chick from South Memphis.
Conditions of his release from prison just 3 months earlier. So while POOH SHIESTY thought he was being slick, that ankle monitor was logging his GPS location every single minute. It placed him exactly where federal prosecutors said he was. Add to that the surveillance cameras throughout the building capturing the crew entering, the cell phone records putting everyone in Dallas, the social media activity including
cell phone records put everybody in Dallas. Cell phone records put everybody at the studio. If you're going to commit a crime, you need to have a pager and a 1987 Cutlass, a 1987 Buick Regal, a 1988 Chevy Monte Carlo. You ain't got no damn business committing crimes with a cell phone and a damn car with a tracking device on it. Big 30 and POOH SHIESTY's daddy, they're all going to the penitentiary. You need to take your daddy and Big 30 to sit up there and confront Gucci about your money. Words of Mama SHIESTY. You need to have a 1986 Buick Regal, a pager, not a cell phone if you're going to commit a crime like this. Stop driving around in cars with navigation because it ain't nothing but a damn tracking device. Get a 1986 Buick Regal if you're going to ride around and commit crimes. No cell phones, none of that. No technology.
Post by POOH SHIESTY himself and his father around that same time period. And then the detail that really sealed it. Surveillance footage of one of the defendants leaving and returning to the building with a duffel bag. That same duffel bag that allegedly contained the AK-47 used in the robbery. Brick by brick, evidence stacking, federal case building. And now, here's where the Keishia angle becomes everything, fam. Because when a woman like Keishia Kawar, a woman who has been managing, protecting, and making executive decisions about Gucci's life for years, finds out that her husband had a gun put to his head and his wedding ring stolen by somebody they trusted. The streets are saying she was not about to let that disappear quietly. The streets are saying Keishia pushed hard for full cooperation with the federal investigation. That she was the energy behind not letting this get swept under the rug the way certain situations in hip-hop tend to disappear. Because this wasn't just an attack on Gucci the rapper. This was an attack on their family, their business, their livelihood, everything she helped build. And Keishia Kawar does not let attacks on what she built go unanswered. But wait, it gets even crazier, fam. Because right when the federal heat started coming down on POOH,
man, these dudes were so dumb that those white boys, man, they jewelry got tracking devices in it. Big 30 and POOH Shiesty's crew posted the jewelry that they robbed him for. You can't say you didn't do it. You got cooperating eyewitnesses. You did videos on Instagram posting the jewelry that you stole in a robbery. They're going to go to court. They're going to testify. Those white boys have no loyalty. They have no loyalty to the streets. They're going to testify. They're going to say it was Big 30. It was POOH Shiesty and his daddy. They're going to testify in court. They want everybody to go to the federal penitentiary. They ain't going to sit up there and let you get away with this. Them people ain't got no damn loyalty to the streets. They going to testify. They going to point the finger. They're going to say, he did it, and he did it. They gonna bury you in the penitentiary. Sit up there and rob those white folks for that jury as if them white folks ain't got tracking devices on their damn jury. Them white folks sit up there and worked hard for their money. They ain't gonna sit up there and let you get away with it. They ain't got no damn loyalty to the streets. Yeah.
Contained the AK-47 used in the robbery. Brick by brick, evidence stacking, federal case building. And now, here's where the Keishia angle becomes everything, fam. Because when a woman like Keishia Kawar, a woman who has been managing, protecting, and making executive decisions about Gucci's life for years, finds out that her husband had a gun put to his head and his wedding ring stolen by somebody they trusted, the streets are saying she was not about to let that disappear quietly. The streets are saying Keishia pushed hard for full cooperation with the federal investigation, that she was the energy behind not letting this get swept under the rug the way certain situations in hip-hop tend to disappear. Because this wasn't just an attack on Gucci the rapper. This was an attack on their family, their business, their livelihood, everything she helped build. And Keishia Kawar does not let attacks on what she built go unanswered. But wait, it gets even crazier, fam. Because right when the federal heat started coming down on POOH Shiesty and his crew, the internet did what the internet does. They went digging, and what they found was an old Instagram live clip of Gucci Mane that is almost too ironic to be real. In the resurfaced video, Gucci is very clearly on his anti-cooperation energy. He's talking about how if something pops off, he handles it himself. He's not calling anybody, not even the police. The clip spread across social media within hours of the POOH Shiesty arrest news dropping, and people were losing it in the comments. And look, I get it. On the surface, that looks like a contradiction. The guy who said he ain't telling nobody is now at the center.
Gucci said, no telling. Now you might say, Gucci's a businessman. He's disconnected from the streets. He's in a whole nother tax bracket. Gucci built his whole reputation on no snitching. So if you build your name and reputation on no snitching, can you then later snitch once you become rich? Give me y'all thoughts in the comments. No, homie, I ain't snitching. I ain't gonna tell. I ain't gonna sit up there and tell. We live by the no snitch code. Is it okay for Gucci to testify when we all know that Gucci built his whole brand off of no snitching, no talking to the police? Can you then turn around and get rich and then snitch when your whole brand was built off of the no snitching code? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, make sure that you bless that like button. We got 1,100 people watching. I'm going to say it again. We got 1,100 people watching. I need everybody to bless that damn like button and hype the damn video.
She helped build, stolen by somebody they trusted. The streets are saying she was not about to let that disappear quietly. The streets are saying Keisha pushed hard for full cooperation with the federal investigation. That she was the energy behind not letting this get swept under the rug the way certain situations in hip-hop tend to disappear. Because this wasn't just an attack on Gucci the rapper. This was an attack on their family, their business, their livelihood, everything she helped build. And Keisha Kawire does not let attacks on what she built go unanswered. But wait, it gets even crazier, fam. Because right when the federal heat started coming down on POOH SHIESTY and his crew, the internet did what the internet does. They went digging, and what they found was an old Instagram live clip of Gucci Mane that is almost too ironic to be real. In the resurfaced video, Gucci is very clearly on his anti-cooperation energy. He's talking about how if something pops off, he handles it himself. He's not calling anybody, not even the police.
Hey, man, I've been said this a long time ago. They don't call it snitching no more. They call it telling the truth. Now, even if Gucci doesn't testify, Big 30 and them still going to jail because you have cooperating witnesses. They posted the stolen jewelry from the robbery on the damn internet. That is a signed, sealed deal. Now, when it comes to the contract, they say Gucci, POOH SHIESTY, his daddy and Big 30, they're already going to the penitentiary because they posted the stolen jewelry on Instagram. They're going down regardless. The white guys will testify in court. But let's separate that from the contract. They're going to jail regardless. But if you don't get on the stand and testify and say that POOH SHIESTY forced you to sign this contract with a gun in your face, then he gets out of the contract. Then you lose out on millions. If you want to protect your contract, you got to get on the stand and testify and say the only reason that you signed it because they held you at gunpoint. Will Gucci snitch or will Gucci keep it trill to the streets? That's the question that everybody is asking. We're looking for a simple answer. Will Gucci snitch or will Gucci keep it real to the streets? Give me your thoughts in the comments.
Spread across social media within hours of the POOH SHIESTY arrest news dropping, and people were losing it in the comments. And look, I get it. On the surface, that looks like a contradiction. The guy who said he ain't telling nobody is now at the center of a DOJ press conference with a U.S. attorney at a podium talking about armed takeovers and victims who came to Dallas for legitimate business. But here's what I want y'all to really think about, gang. There's a difference between street disputes and somebody putting an AK to your head, taking your wedding ring, choking your people unconscious, and forcing your signature under duress. That is not a street dispute. That is a federal crime committed against you. Those are two very different things. And I think most real people, when they're being honest, understand that distinction. Plus, and I can't stress this enough, the streets are saying Keisha Kawire's influence on this whole situation cannot be understated. This is a woman who has managed her husband's entire public presence through mental health crises. She's not emotional, she's calculated, and calculated people don't let something this serious go. Fast forward to April 1st, 2026, April Fool's Day, and trust me when I tell you, this was absolutely no joke. The FBI moved simultaneously on multiple locations. POOH SHIESTY's family home in Cordova, Tennessee, a Memphis suburb, got raided. At the same time, federal agents were moving on suspects in Dallas. Coordinated, clean, federal government energy. POOH SHIESTY was arrested. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., was arrested. Big 30 was arrested. 8 of the 9 total suspects were taken into custody on that single day. The 9th was still being actively searched for. On April 2nd, 2026, the Department of Justice made everything official. 9 defendants federally indicted for a coordinated armed kidnapping and robbery of 3 music industry professionals. And on April 3rd, surveillance images from the building were released publicly showing the group of suspects entering. And
Listen, man, they got surveillance to prove you was in the building. They got phone towers. You posted the jury from the robbery. You're going to jail regardless. You got to separate the robbery from the contract. These guys are going to jail regardless. They're going to tell Gucci this is how the Fed's going to play. Gucci, if you don't testify that he forced you to sign the contract, then POOH Shiesty gets out of the contract and you lose millions. If you want to protect your money, your brand and business, you got to testify and say that he forced you to sign this contract at gunpoint. If you don't say that, POOH Shiesty walks out of the contract, you lose millions. That's the trick bag that the feds are going to put Gucci in. If Gucci don't testify and say he forced me to sign this contract, POOH Shiesty gets out of that contract 100%. He walks away scot-free. Gucci misses out on millions of dollars. Or do Gucci say, nah, this ain't got nothing to do with the streets. I got to protect my investments. I got to protect my business. You're damn right I'm going to testify and say that he forced me to sign that contract at gunpoint. Will Gucci snitch or will Gucci keep it real to the streets? Give me y'all thoughts in the comments. Let's move on with the commentary, baby.
See, a Memphis suburb got raided. At the same time, federal agents were moving on suspects in Dallas. Coordinated, clean, federal government energy. POOH Shiesty was arrested. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., was arrested. Big 30 was arrested. 8 of the 9 total suspects were taken into custody on that single day. The 9th was still being actively searched for. On April 2, 2026, the Department of Justice made everything official. 9 defendants federally indicted for a coordinated armed kidnapping and robbery of 3 music industry professionals. And on April 3rd, surveillance images.
We got 1,400 people watching. Let's get 1,000 people to bless that like button. We got well over 1,400 watching. Let's keep the number. Let the numbers keep rising. We're going to elevate to the damn top. Shout out to Guwop. Will Guwop snitch and say, hell yeah, he pulled a gun and made me sign that damn contract. I got to protect my money. Or will Guwop say, no, I'm going to keep it real to the streets and take the L and lose on millions, and POOH Shiesty walks out of the contract? Let me know.
From the building were released. Williams Sr. was arrested. Big 30 was arrested. 8 of the 9 total suspects were taken into custody on that single day. The 9th was still being actively searched for. On April 2, 2026, the Department of Justice made everything official. 9 defendants federally indicted for a coordinated armed kidnapping and robbery of 3 music industry professionals. And on April 3rd, surveillance images from the building were released publicly showing the group of suspects entering, and one of them leaving to retrieve that duffel bag. The charges are serious, fam. Federal kidnapping, armed robbery under federal jurisdiction. These are not charges you walk away from with a slap on the wrist. POOH Shiesty had just gotten out of federal prison in October 2025, 6 months before this arrest, 6 months of freedom before allegedly pulling this off while wearing an ankle monitor. His attorney, Bradford Cohen, came out with a statement saying he sees inconsistencies in the indictment and they'll address things at future hearings. Standard attorney move. Okay, but the evidence the feds are working with: GPS ankle monitor data, surveillance footage, cell phone records, social media posts, witness accounts. That is a mountain of documentation that is going to be very difficult to poke holes through. And the streets are saying that beyond the criminal case, there are whispers of civil action too. Because when somebody violates you the way POOH Shiesty allegedly violated Gucci, takes his wedding ring, his jewelry, humiliates him in front of his own people, the criminal courts ain't the only place accountability can happen. Civil courts exist for exactly this kind of situation, and Keishia Kawar is a businesswoman first. She understands legal tools better than most people in this industry. The streets are saying she's not done, not even close. Okay fam, let's zoom way out for a second. Because this story is bigger than Gucci and POOH Shiesty. This is about something the entire culture needs to have a real conversation about. We talk about loyalty in hip-hop like it is the absolute foundation of everything. Real recognize real. Your label is your family. Your big homie puts you on. You hold it down for life. That's the code everybody claims to live by. But what we keep seeing over and over and over again is artists who feel trapped or undervalued by their contract situation, and instead of handling it the right way through lawyers and negotiations and legitimate business...
Listen, man, POOH Shiesty had a bunch of ghetto people in his ear. They're saying that Gucci made $25 million off of POOH Shiesty when POOH Shiesty was in prison. POOH Shiesty's mother said, you need to confront Gucci. Gucci didn't steal your money. You need to take your daddy and Big 30 and confront him about your money. They convinced POOH Shiesty that this was a great idea to confront Gucci at gunpoint about his money, allegedly. Gucci allegedly stole 25 mil from SHIESTY. I don't believe it. I don't believe that POOH SHIESTY generated 25 million when he was in prison and Gucci just sat up there and kept all the damn money. But Mama SHIESTY and those ghetto people that's around POOH SHIESTY convinced him that somehow Gucci Mane stole 25 mil and never gave him a penny of the damn money. You need to pull up to that studio with your daddy and Big 30 and confront Gucci about your money. We from South Memphis. We with the business. You need to confront Gucci. And that's exactly what POOH SHIESTY did.
Conversations, they make decisions that destroy their careers and their freedom simultaneously. POOH SHIESTY had every legitimate option available to him. He could have hired an entertainment attorney to negotiate his release. He could have gone public with grievances. He could have fought it out in civil.
POOH SHIESTY could have did all of that, but when you got ghetto people in your ear who don't understand business, they're going to convince you that street justice is somehow the best thing, the best route to take. You know, POOH SHIESTY's father should have been smart enough to say, no, we're going to take him to court. We're going to handle this the legal way. But when you're from the ghetto and you from the hood, the only way that you know to resolve an issue is by using violence. That's the only way they know how to resolve an issue. We're going to pull up. We're going to pull them things out. We're going to rob them, strip these people of their jewelry, and force Gucci to sign you out of that contract. That sounds like a great idea.
Over again is artistry. The streets are saying she's not done, not even close. Okay, fam, let's zoom way out for a second. Because this story is bigger than Gucci and POOH SHIESTY. This is about something the entire culture needs to have a real conversation about. We talk about loyalty in hip-hop like it is the absolute foundation of everything. Real recognize real. Your label is your family. Your big homie puts you on. You hold it down for life. That's the code everybody claims to live by. But what we keep seeing over and over and over again is artists who feel trapped or undervalued by their contract situation, and instead of handling it the right way through lawyers and negotiations and legitimate business conversations, they make decisions that destroy their careers and their freedom simultaneously. POOH SHIESTY had every legitimate option available to him. He could have hired an entertainment attorney to negotiate his release. He could have gone public with grievances. He could have fought it out in civil court. He had options, gang. Real options that don't involve federal charges. Instead, he allegedly recruited 8 people, coordinated travel from multiple cities, orchestrated an armed takeover of a recording studio, and did all of it while wearing an ankle monitor from his previous federal conviction. The self-destruction of that decision is almost impossible to comprehend. And on the other side of this, Gucci Mane, a man who has done prison time himself, who has lived by street codes his whole life, is now a federal victim. His wife, who spent years shielding him from the public during mental health episodes, who deleted his apps and changed his passwords to protect his image, who built a $30 million empire alongside him, now has to watch everything they built get dragged through a federal case because somebody Gucci treated like a son made the worst decision of his life. Keisha Coware went from protecting Gucci from Twitter to protecting him in a whole different arena entirely. And the streets are watching every single move she makes. So let me bring it all the way home for y'all. Here's exactly where we stand right now. POOH SHIESTY is federally indicted. His father is federally indicted. Big 30 is federally indicted. 8 people arrested in a single day across Dallas and Memphis. A 9th still being tracked. 9 total defendants facing federal kidnapping and armed robbery charges. Gucci Mane, the man who signed POOH, held his record deal while he was locked up, gifted him a 6-figure Jeep, and called him family, and was the man sitting at the wrong end of an AK-style pistol on January 10, 2026, in a Dallas recording studio. And Keisha Coware, the self-made multi-millionaire, the woman who has been Gucci's protector, his gatekeeper, his ride or die through bipolar disorder and schizophrenia diagnoses and multiple prison stretches, is not the type of woman to absorb something like this and move quietly. The streets are talking loud right now, and what the streets are saying is that the woman behind Gucci Mane might just be the most consequential figure in how
Shout out to Ryder Profit for the Cash App. Shout out to Tiffany for the Cash App. Shout out to Lewis for the Cash App. Shout out to Richard G for the Cash App. Shout out to Stevenson T for the Cash App. Let's get some more people to bless the Cash App. Let's get some more people to bless that like button. It ain't nothing. Is Keisha KO a ride or die that protects Gucci? It seems like that to me. I don't know, man. She's a ride or die for Gucci. She got his back 100%. That's what it seems like. Keisha KR said, we're not going to let Shiesty get away with robbing Gucci. We work too hard for our money. We're not going to let him get away with this. Will Gucci tell his wife, nah, we going to keep it to the streets. I ain't going to testify. She like, nah, you better testify to protect your money. The hell with these street dudes. When you went to prison, I was the one holding you down. These street dudes didn't do nothing. I held you down. I protected our brand. I protected our business. You're damn right. You better cooperate on the stand and point out POOH Shiesty to protect your business and your damn money. These street dudes ain't gonna give you a damn thing. They ain't gonna feed you a damn breadcrumb if you're broke sitting in prison and starving. You're damn right. You better cooperate to protect your money. The hell with the street code. That's what his wife is gonna tell him. Will Gucci live by the street code, or will Gucci say, nope, I'm a businessman. You robbed me. I took you out of poverty. You got the nerve to rob me. I'm testifying in court to protect my brand, to protect my investments, my money, and my damn business. Yeah, true story.
His record deal while he was locked up, gifted him a 6-figure Jeep, and called him family, and was the man sitting at the wrong end of an AK-style pistol on January 10th, 2026, in a Dallas recording studio. And Keisha KR, the self-made multi-millionaire, the woman who has been Gucci's protector, his gatekeeper, his ride or die through bipolar disorder and schizophrenia diagnoses and multiple prison stretches, is not the type of woman to absorb something like this and move quietly. The streets are talking loud right now, and what the streets are saying is that the woman behind Gucci Mane might just be the most consequential figure in how this entire situation plays out. Not because she's loud about it, not because she's posting about it, but because she's smart, she's strategic, she's connected, and she has been managing Gucci's life with precision for over a decade. POOH Shiesty forced Gucci to sign a piece of paper that night in Dallas, but Keisha KR, she's been the one signing off on Gucci Mane's whole existence for years, and you absolutely do not want that woman deciding you're the enemy. That is the real story, fam. That's what nobody else is breaking down for you the way we do it here. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you think Keisha KR is the real force behind everything that's come down on POOH Shiesty? And if you're new here, you already know what time.
No, they say, hey, man, we got a man. Shout out to Rap Dynasty. I think Rap Dynasty did he dropped a lot of good content on this, man. Shout out to my people, man. I rock with a lot of different people, man. Shout out to
POOH Shiesty, the worst criminal / craziest rapper of all time.
He got an ankle monitor on.
Yeah.
In the halfway house. You know he was due to get out of halfway house on the 11th of April.
Yeah.
In 9 days.
Unbelievable.
He got an ankle monitor on in the halfway house. Goes to a location on camera. He knows that Gucci Mane security is off-duty police.
Right.
He's been with him forever. And then you have a dude record it. And then the dudes go to the internet showing the jury.
Recorded it to use as blackmail in the future.
So I don't blackmail the what?
Maybe like they felt like Gucci and all the dudes with him were such street dudes that they would have kept the secret, which I don't think so.
There were no street dudes with Gucci.
Right.
See, that's true. Listen, maybe Big 30 and POOH Shiesty was under the impression that Gucci gonna keep it street. He ain't gonna snitch. But also you have to consider this. Gucci got a lot of off-duty police officers doing security for him. What makes you think they're not gonna snitch? They have no loyalty to the streets. It was a terrible decision to rob Gucci at gunpoint. These guys were so stupid that they posted the jewelry from the robbery on Instagram, posted the stolen jewelry from the robbery on the internet. That is how dumb these guys are. All that jewelry had tracking devices on it. They're going to jail for kidnapping and armed robbery. Now, Gucci got to make a decision. If Gucci don't testify and say he made me sign that contract because he had me at gunpoint, POOH Shiesty walks out of that contract, Gucci loses millions. Right? That's if Gucci decides to not cooperate. But either way, they're going to jail regardless. They're going to jail for the robbery and kidnapping regardless. You got eyewitnesses. You posted the jewelry from the armed robbery on the internet. These dudes are going down. They're stupid. They're dumb. You mean to tell me you robbed somebody at gunpoint and you post the stolen jewelry on the internet after the robbery? You talk about stupidity at its highest level. Let's get to the content though, man. I'm gonna be quiet. Make sure, hey, homie, we got 1,700 people watching. We got 1,700 people watching. Bless that like button.
11th of April.
Yeah.
In 9 days.
Unbelievable.
He got an ankle monitor on in the halfway house, goes to a location on camera. He knows that Gucci Mane security is off-duty police.
Right.
He's been with him forever. And then you have a dude record it. And then the dudes go to the internet showing the jury.
Recorded it to use as blackmail in the future.
So I don't blackmail the what?
Maybe like they felt like Gucci and all the dudes with him were such street dudes that they would have kept the secret, which I don't think so.
There were no street dudes with Gucci.
Right. The cameraman dude that I saw was like a regular ass white kid.
His best friend, regular dude, off-duty cop.
POOH SHIESTY got exposed for snitching. And I don't mean rumors. I don't mean internet allegations with no paper behind them. I mean federal court documents, a proffer agreement on record, his own lawyer's public statements, and his father, the man who raised him, the man he trusted his entire life being a classified government informant since 2009. On top of all of that, Gucci Mane, the man who signed him, the man he allegedly put a gun to inside a Dallas studio, cooperated with federal investigators and helped hand prosecutors the exact case that could send POOH away for life. This is not one snitch story. This is an entire family of them. Every direction you turn in this situation, somebody is cooperating, somebody has paperwork, somebody has already sat down with the government, and the culture is going absolutely insane right now because nobody saw all of this coming at once, hitting from every angle simultaneously. So sit down, lock in, and do not go anywhere, because I am about to break down every single layer: the robbery, the ankle monitor, the proffer, his father's history, Gucci's cooperation, WAC 100's receipts, and everything this means for the culture going forward. By the time I am done, you will understand exactly why this is the most complete and devastating exposure in the history of rap. Let's go. To understand how catastrophic this situation truly is, we gotta go back. Not just to 2021 when POOH first caught his case, we need to go back further and understand what kind of figure POOH SHIESTY was built to be, what he represented, and why this downfall hits so much different than anything the culture has processed before. POOH SHIESTY came out of Memphis, Tennessee, one of the realest, most unforgiving rap cities in the country. Memphis doesn't manufacture.
Make sure that you guys bless that like button. We got 1,800 people watching. If we got 1,800 people watching, we need 1,800 likes. Bless the like button and make sure you hype the video when it uploads to YouTube if you're truly rocking with the King Supreme. Subscribe to the channel.
Rap personas. Memphis produces men who come from real situations and talk about them directly. From day one, POOH SHIESTY's brand was built entirely on street authenticity. Hard bars, real stories, no filter, the kind of energy that makes you believe every single word because it doesn't sound like a performance. It sounds like a testimony from someone who actually lived what he's describing. That credibility was the foundation of everything. When he linked with Gucci Mane's 1017 records, it felt like the perfect marriage of talent and infrastructure. Gucci had his own battle-tested street credibility going back decades, and a legitimate platform built off that reputation. POOH had the raw Memphis energy and the pen to back it up. Gucci brought the cosign, the marketing machine, the connections, the studio access, the features, the resources that turn a regional artist into a national name. POOH brought something you cannot manufacture, the real thing. On paper, it was supposed to be the beginning of a dynasty, and for a minute, it genuinely worked. POOH was on a trajectory that felt inevitable, real momentum. The kind of cultural buzz that no label can buy. The kind that happens when the streets decide on their own that you are the one and they tell everyone they know. POOH SHIESTY was becoming a name you had to know if you were paying attention to what was happening in hip-hop. Then 2021 happened. POOH SHIESTY caught federal gun charges stemming from a firearms incident that landed him in federal custody. The hip-hop world mourned the way it does. Posts, tributes, free SHIESTY energy that never fully died even through years of his incarceration. His fan base refused to move on. They waited, they kept his name alive. And then October 2025 arrived and POOH SHIESTY walked out of prison. He came home and immediately dropped Proffer. The streets went crazy. And that reaction matters, because it doesn't always happen like that when a rapper comes back from a bid. Sometimes the moment has genuinely passed. Sometimes the music comes out cold and the culture has already moved to the next thing. That did not happen with POOH. He came back and proved his gift was completely intact. He dropped a massive record with FDO that had people talking across every platform. The culture was genuinely, enthusiastically celebrating his return. It felt like justice. It felt like a story that was going to have a good ending. But here's where it gets crazy. Because during that exact period when he was celebrating his freedom and the streets were riding with him, POOH SHIESTY was already moving in ways that were quietly setting up the most catastrophic collapse anyone had seen in years. 9 days. That's how close he was to being fully free from his halfway house obligations. 9 days until he could move without an ankle monitor, without supervision, without the federal government tracking his every location in real time. That's when everything collapsed. Okay, fam, here's the real tea on exactly what went down. And I need you locked in because every single detail of this story makes it more unbelievable than the detail before it. In January 2026, POOH SHIESTY, his father Lontrell Williams Sr., his road partner Big 30, born Rodney Lamont Wright Jr., and 6 other associates allegedly rolled up to a recording studio in Dallas, Texas. But this was not a studio session. This was not a vibe or a hangout. According to federal prosecutors and the Department of Justice, this was a fully coordinated, pre-planned armed takeover with a specific objective executed like an operation. The approach was allegedly disguised as a contract meeting, a professional sit-down to discuss POOH SHIESTY's deal with Gucci Mane's 1017 Records label, and there was reportedly real tension fueling the whole thing. Allegations of unpaid advances, ongoing disputes over creative control, and POOH's desire to walk away from the label after serving his time and coming home to a deal he no longer wanted to be part of. In POOH's mind, apparently, the label situation had become something he felt he had no legitimate way out of. So instead of engaging lawyers, instead of going through negotiation channels, instead of using the legal and business tools that exist for exactly this type of industry dispute, allegedly, he assembled a crew and decided to resolve it the way things in his music get resolved. According to the Department of Justice, here is what prosecutors say happened inside that studio. Big 30 physically used his own body to barricade the studio door, preventing anyone from leaving. The crew pulled weapons, including an AK-style pistol. They held Gucci Mane and 2 other victims at gunpoint. They forced one of the victims to sign legal documents releasing POOH SHIESTY from his recording contract while a gun was literally pressed against their head.
Look at that image. Look at that image right there.
To sign legal documents.
Man, you got people who are so dumb that saying, man, they ain't got no evidence. Man, they got surveillance, homie. They posted the jury from the armed robbery on the internet. They can prove that you was at the studio through tracking devices. Your vehicle is a tracking device. You got cooperating witnesses. What do you mean they have no evidence? You're crazy. We're talking about the feds here. We're not even talking about the state. The feds will convict you. The feds don't come for you unless they have solid evidence. Cooperating eyewitnesses, you posted the stolen jewelry from the armed robbery on the internet, surveillance to prove that you was at the studio. The white men who got robbed, they're gonna tell. They have no loyalty to the streets. They're gonna be eyewitnesses and point your monkey ass out in court. But you got people still saying they ain't got no evidence. They really ain't got no evidence. Man, please stop it. Bless that damn like button while you at it.
Releasing POOH SHIESTY from his recording contract while a gun was literally pressed against their head. A second victim was choked to near unconsciousness during the encounter. The rest of the crew robbed the remaining people in the room. Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items stripped right off their bodies inside that studio. Now here's the detail that makes this story uniquely, historically difficult to comprehend. POOH SHIESTY had an ankle monitor strapped to his leg the entire time he was in that studio. He was legally still in his halfway house period, 9 days away from complete freedom. The ankle monitor was recording and transmitting his GPS location in real time to federal authorities. Every movement documented, every location logged automatically, and there's more. He knew because he had been signed to Gucci Mane's label for years, because he had spent significant time in Gucci's circle, that Gucci Mane's longtime personal security guard was an off-duty police officer Not a tough guy playing a role, not a street dude on payroll, a sworn law enforcement officer with a badge, a career, and a legal obligation to report what he witnessed or face serious professional and criminal consequences himself. POOH SHIESTY had physically seen this man. He knew who he was. He knew what Gucci's setup looked like. And as if none of that was enough, after leaving the studio, members of the crew allegedly went on social media within hours and started showing off the stolen items, posting the jewelry, flexing the watches, putting the actual physical evidence of a federal kidnapping on the internet with timestamps, publicly accessible to investigators, prosecutors, journalists, and every person with a phone who wanted to screenshot it. The federal case built itself. Investigators had ankle-monitor GPS data placing POOH at the exact studio location at the exact time of the incident. They had studio surveillance footage capturing the armed takeover on camera. They had the off-duty police officer's sworn eyewitness account. They had social media posts with timestamps proving the stolen items were in the crew's possession hours after the crime. They had rental car records and fingerprints tying multiple defendants directly to the scene. On April 2nd, 2026, federal prosecutors charged POOH SHIESTY, his father, Big 30, and 6 others with conspiracy to commit kidnapping and kidnapping. Maximum sentence, life in prison for each defendant. 9 days from complete freedom, facing life in prison. But wait, it gets worse. Because the kidnapping and robbery charges are only the beginning of why the internet has completely lost its composure over this situation. When the indictment dropped publicly, people started going through that paperwork line by line. Court documents listed one victim as RD. DJ Academics was one of the first to put it on record. RD almost certainly stands for Radrick Davis, Gucci Mane's government name, his legal identity in federal documents. And what did those papers say RD did following the incident? He cooperated with law enforcement, he identified the people who attacked him. He, along with the cameraman present in the studio, allegedly directed federal investigators to Big 30's Instagram account and confirmed his presence at the scene. The internet exploded. Within hours, Gucci Mane went from kidnapping victim to being labeled by massive sections of hip-hop culture as the most famous snitch in rap history. A viral clip shared by No Jumper showed an Atlanta inmate literally throwing Gucci's book, Episodes, The Diary of a Recovering Madman, over a prison railing on camera. The image spread to every platform. The culture had already issued its verdict before any facts or context could catch up. DJ Academics broke it down on his live stream. They all identified right.
A lot of these people in prison, they're dumb. These dudes ain't got nothing. Gucci's trying to protect the business. Now, I can see it from both sides. Some people can say, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Red, but Gucci built his whole brand on no snitching and no talking to the police. But once you become a multi-millionaire businessman, you got to protect your assets. Gucci got a decision to make. Gucci can say, I'm going to keep it street. I ain't going to say nothing and lose out on millions and lose out on his investment. Or he can say, I ain't tell this young ninja to rob me. I took this dude out of poverty and you going to come to the studio and rob me? You're damn right I'm going to tell these folks that you robbed me at gunpoint and force me to sign you out of that contract. I ain't finna miss out on millions. Hell nah. You can call it snitching or call it whatever you want. I got to protect my money and my investments as a businessman. I don't give a damn about the street because guess what? If Gucci goes to prison, people in the streets ain't going to send Gucci a damn dime, ain't going to do nothing for him. So Gucci has a decision to make. Does he protect his business, his brand, and his investments, or does he keep it trill to the streets? People who ain't going to do a damn thing for him. So ultimately, Gucci got a decision to make. But what I'm saying is this, regardless if Gucci says anything or not, Big 30, POOH SHIESTY, and his daddy and a whole crew, they're going to prison. Why? Because they posted the jewelry from the armed robbery on the internet. There's surveillance. There's cooperating eyewitnesses. They're going to prison for the robbery regardless. Now, let's separate that from the contract. They're going to tell Gucci, this is what the Fed's going to tell Gucci. These guys are going to jail regardless. But now let's talk about your contract and money. The only way you can protect your money is tell us that POOH SHIESTY robbed you at gunpoint. Then you can protect your millions. You can protect your investment. But if you don't cooperate with us and tell us that POOH SHIESTY robbed you at gunpoint, you lose out on millions and POOH SHIESTY walks out of that contract scot-free. Let's go. Look at Big 30.
Confirmed his presence at the scene. The internet exploded. Within hours, Gucci Mane went from kidnapping victim to being labeled by massive sections of hip-hop culture as the most famous snitch in rap history. A viral clip shared by No Jumper showed an Atlanta inmate literally throwing Gucci's book, Episodes, The Diary of a Recovering Madman, over a prison railing on camera. The image spread to every platform. The culture had already issued its verdict before any facts or context could catch up. DJ Academics broke it down on his live stream. They all identified Wright, Big 30's real last name. It appears that all of these guys cooperated and identified these people as being present during the offense. Now here's where I need to slow it down and keep it completely 100, because this is where the internet narrative flew way past what is actually true and verifiable. Gucci Mane's security guard was an off-duty police officer. That single fact changes the entire framing of this conversation. A sworn law enforcement officer does not have the option of staying silent when federal investigators show up asking about a kidnapping he personally witnessed. An officer who withholds that information faces the end of his career and potential criminal exposure of his own. That cop was going to give investigators a complete, detailed, sworn account regardless of what Gucci Mane said or didn't say. The moment POOH SHIESTY walked into that studio with law enforcement present in the room, the legal outcome was already determined. Gucci opening his mouth or keeping it shut may have been entirely irrelevant to how the case got built. Second point, legal observers were quick to emphasize this. The federal government does not need Gucci Mane's testimony to convict anyone charged in this case. They have the ankle monitor GPS data, the surveillance footage, the cop, the social media posts, the rental records, the fingerprints. The case was airtight before Gucci said a single word to anyone. As legal commentators noted publicly, Gucci don't have to cooperate or testify because it's all on video. The feds already have a case with the video and the off-duty cop.
Yeah, we got 1,800 people watching, but only 400 something likes. Get them likes up. To all you gossipers and hate watchers, bless that like button. Ain't no way we got 1,800 plus people watching and we only got 400 plus people who bless that like button. You talk about a whole bunch of gossipers and hate watchers. I got a whole lot of them. A whole bunch of people who don't want to see King Supreme win. And I get it. I understand it. You fugazi. You listen to nonsense. I'm giving you the real. These dudes are going to jail regardless if a Gucci man testifies or not. They're going to prison regardless. Now, check this. When it comes to the contract, though, they're going to separate that from the robbery. Gucci got to testify if he wants to protect his contract, his investment, and his millions. He got to testify if he want to protect his money. Now, if Gucci decides to keep it real with the streets and say, oh, man, I ain't going to say nothing, Gucci loses his investment, he loses out on millions, POOH SHIESTY walks out of that contract. So Gucci has a decision to make. Does Gucci say, I'm a businessman, I got to protect my investments and I got to protect my money, or do you keep it real to business and your family, or do you keep it real with the streets? That's the decision that Gucci is going to have to make. Protect my millions or keep it real with the streets. He can go this way or that way.
Gucci Mane had ankle monitor GPS data, the surveillance footage, the cop, the social media posts, the rental records, the fingerprints. The case was airtight before Gucci said a single word to anyone. As legal commentators noted publicly, Gucci don't have to cooperate or testify because it's all on video. The feds already have a case with the video and the off-duty cop. Gucci Mane has not made a single public statement addressing any part of this situation at the time of this script. No comment on the robbery, no response to the snitch allegations, complete silence. His attorneys almost certainly told him to say nothing. The streets voted without waiting for context, and the verdict was not in his favor. Here's where people really started connecting the dots, and some of these dots stretch back nearly 2 decades. Enter Whack 100. Love him or not, the man has made a career out of pulling receipts. After POOH SHIESTY's arrest made headlines across every platform, Whack got on a call with DJ Academics and dropped something the internet genuinely was not prepared for. He alleged that POOH SHIESTY's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., who was arrested as a co-defendant in the same federal kidnapping case alongside his son, has been a classified government informant since 2009. Not a rumor, not speculation, alleged documents. Whack forwarded what he claimed was official paperwork to Academics, showing that in 2009, the elder Williams entered a plea agreement on 5 counts that explicitly included provisions for providing ongoing information to government officials. The language in the alleged paperwork described his cooperation as continuing and anticipated his future assistance. The specific language tied to Federal Sentencing Guideline 5K 1.1, which allows federal judges to reduce sentences below mandatory minimums when defendants provide.
You got somebody saying that the video don't prove robbery and kidnapping. Let me tell you something, fool. When you rob somebody and you post the jury from the armed robbery, then you have eyewitnesses that will cooperate and testify you're cooked. What do you mean the video, it don't prove nothing, man? Some of you guys are crazy. They posted the jury from the armed robbery on social media. The white guys who got robbed for their jewelry, they will go to court and testify and say, yes, they robbed me for my jewelry. That guy on the internet is the one who robbed me for my jewelry. They're going to testify, fool. The white boys ain't got no loyalty to the streets. They're loyal to their career. If they don't testify, they lose their career. They're going to go to court and say, yes, that guy in that video is the one that robbed me of my jewelry. That's my jewelry right there in the video. These ninjas was dumb enough to post the jewelry from the armed robbery on the damn internet. And they got surveillance to prove they was there. And they got cooperating eyewitnesses to give you the business in the courtroom, fool.
Substantial cooperation to the government. Sit with that for a real moment. POOH SHIESTY's father, the man who raised him, who he grew up trusting, who reportedly participated in the Dallas studio operation alongside him as a co-defendant. That man allegedly became a government informant when POOH was approximately 8 or 9 years old. POOH had no knowledge of this. How could he? This is not information fathers share with children. And now, while POOH sits in federal custody already staring down a potential life sentence, he is finding out in real time that his father's history is being broadcast publicly to every corner of the internet simultaneously. As one commentator put it directly on air, you're already having the worst day of your life. Let's make it worse. But WAC 100's archive on this situation doesn't stop at the father. Back in 2022, when POOH was first released and then reincarcerated on his original gun charges, WAC had already publicly accused POOH himself of cooperating with the government during his 2021 firearms case. The allegation was that POOH entered into a proffer agreement, sat down with prosecutors, laid out the facts of his case, including the roles of his co-defendants, and that cooperation contributed to him receiving a significantly reduced sentence relative to what the charges could have carried. POOH's attorney Bradford Cohen came out swinging in response. He called the allegations idiotic and stated plainly, POOH SHIESTY gave up no one. We never cooperated with the government whatsoever. Our defense was that we blamed the alleged victims. The victims were trying to rob POOH and his crew, and that's why the guns came out. POOH went on his Instagram stories and denied it personally. His mother publicly went at WAC. It became a drawn-out, very public dispute with both sides claiming to have the truth. Then in January 2026, just days after the Dallas studio incident, which the public did not yet know about, POOH went on Instagram, held up official court documents from his original...
We got 2,000 people watching, man. Shout out to everybody for rocking with the content. I got to give you guys more of the street content. We're going to dedicate a whole channel to street content. We got 2,000 live viewers. Let's get 2,000 people to bless that damn like button. It ain't nothing. It don't cost you no damn money. POOH SHIESTY, his daddy, and Big 30 are going to do time in a federal penitentiary. You robbed these people, then posted the jury from the armed robbery on the internet like a bunch of dummies. They don't need Gucci's testimony to fry you in court. Now, Gucci will have to testify to protect his contract and say, yeah, he robbed me. He forced me to sign the contract. Gucci got to testify to protect the contract. But anyway, they're going to prison regardless for the armed robbery and the kidnapping. Even if Gucci don't testify, they're going down for that 100%.
Indictment directly to the became a drawn-out, very public dispute with both sides claiming to have the truth. Then in January 2026, just days after the Dallas studio incident, which the public did not yet know about, POOH went on Instagram, held up official court documents from his original indictment directly to the camera and said on the record, "We kept it G, we traumatized by this, y'all better watch y'all mouth when y'all say a new name, never told and never folded." He posted a public declaration of loyalty and silence while allegedly already being investigated by federal authorities for a kidnapping that had taken place days earlier. The timing of that post is something the internet has been sitting with ever since the arrest went public. The ripple effects of this situation spread into every corner of hip-hop almost immediately, and they are still spreading now. Gucci Mane's reputation took a serious blow regardless of legal nuance or factual context. That resurfaced anti-snitching clip, an old video of Gucci expressing his personal code, completely unrelated to the POOH SHIESTY situation, got repackaged with new graphics, new captions, and went viral across every platform as though it was a direct statement about this specific case. It was not. It was years-old footage ripped from its original context and weaponized for engagement. But once it spread, it could not be walked back. The contrast between Gucci's stated code and the narrative that he cooperated with investigators created a cultural firestorm that moved far faster than any correction or clarification ever could. The image of that Atlanta inmate throwing Gucci's book over a prison railing became the defining visual of where public sentiment stood. Not a tweet, not a comment section, a physical act of rejection, captured on video and broadcast everywhere. The symbolism was impossible to ignore. 21 Savage got pulled into the debate simply for publicly continuing to show love to POOH SHIESTY amid all of this, which opened a whole separate conversation about what loyalty means when federal kidnapping charges are involved, what you owe to someone the government is alleging did what POOH is alleged to have done, and where the lines of ride or die actually sit in 2026. Big 30, the other half of what was genuinely one of the most exciting creative partnerships in Memphis rap, is now a federal co-defendant facing life in prison alongside his partner and collaborator. That partnership, which had real potential to define a chapter of Memphis music the way few partnerships do, may be permanently finished before it came anywhere close to realizing what it could have been. POOH's father is in federal custody with his 2009 cooperation history now fully public and permanently attached to the story. The family dimension of all of this is one of the most genuinely painful parts, because POOH SHIESTY built his entire brand on a specific code of loyalty and silence, and now
No snitching, no telling, no talking to the police. Once people start to once people become multimillionaires, the don't snitch code, the no talking to the police goes out of the window. Even amongst criminals that's in prison, it's everybody for themselves. Once you go to prison looking at 30, that changes the whole story. There is no more loyalty. It becomes every man for himself. If you don't believe me, go to prison and see all these guys that's fighting cases, and you're going to see how many people who didn't snitch to say they own ass when it's time to do time in prison. Yeah.
Now the man who raised him is facing accusations that he violated that exact code before POOH was old enough to even understand what cooperation with the government meant. And then there's the music itself. Prefer, the comeback record, the one that had the streets genuinely excited about what POOH SHIESTY was going to become after his release, now sits as one of the most painfully ironic artistic documents in recent rap history. A record built entirely around the concept of not cooperating with the government, released by a man whose situation now involves cooperation allegations at every single level. His own original case, his father's documented history, and the victim.
Shout out to Matthew for the Cash App. I appreciate you, Matthew. Shout out to Tina for the Cash App. If you appreciate the content, put some love and respect on the show. The first thing you need to do is bless that like button if you want to put some love and respect on the content. Can you dig it? Yeah.
He allegedly held at gunpoint, who then identified his crew to federal investigators. Let's zoom all the way out, because there is a much larger conversation underneath all of this that matters far beyond POOH SHIESTY's individual situation. Think about what allegedly happened in that Dallas studio and what drove it. The theory most widely discussed is that POOH felt completely trapped inside his 2017 deal, that after 4 years of incarceration, coming home to a label situation he no longer wanted, feeling like the contract he signed before he understood his own worth had become a permanent cage, he saw no legitimate exit. That feeling of being trapped with no way out is what allegedly led to everything that followed. And here's what needs to be said directly. That feeling is not unique to POOH SHIESTY. That experience, signing a deal as an unknown, becoming a known name, and then feeling like the terms you agreed to no longer reflect your actual value, is a structural problem that has existed in hip-hop for 30 straight years. Countless artists have lived it. It is documented extensively. It is a real and ongoing exploitation that the industry has never genuinely fixed. The difference always is what you do about it. You could have engaged lawyers and opened a buyout conversation. You could have used commercial success and proved POOH had real commercial power after his release to create genuine negotiating leverage. You could have delivered contracted work and walked away clean when the obligation was fulfilled. People have escaped bad deals before without catching federal kidnapping charges. Then there's the execution itself, a man who served 4 years in federal prison, who came home to a legitimate second chance with the culture fully behind him, who had an ankle monitor transmitting his GPS location in real time to the government, who knew that Gucci's personal security was law enforcement, who had 9 days, 9 literal days, until he was completely free. And he allegedly assembled a crew, walked into a studio, and held people at gunpoint. Then his crew...
Yeah, man, we got 2,000 live viewers. Let's get 1,000 likes, and then let's get 2,000 likes, right? So all you gossipers and hate watchers, bless the like button. It don't cost you no money. I know you guys hate King Supreme. I know you've been gossiping behind the scenes, listening to F-Boys say something about me. But guess what? We're going to continue to push forward. We're going to continue to elevate MASH and elevate this platform, and you can't stop it. We about to take off like a Houston rocket. Yeah, homeboy, what's in your pocket? What you got on my 40, homie? Like Debo from Friday. Yeah.
Posted the stolen goods on, came home to a legitimate second chance with the culture fully behind him, who had an ankle monitor transmitting his GPS location in real time to the government, who knew that Gucci's personal security was law enforcement, who had 9 days, 9 literal days, until he was completely free. And he allegedly assembled a crew, walked into a studio, and held people at gunpoint. Then his crew posted the stolen goods on Instagram hours later. That is not the decision-making of someone in a desperate, trapped corner. That is the behavior of someone who genuinely believed consequences did not apply to them. And when someone believes they are above consequence, the federal government exists specifically to prove them wrong. Here's the real question the culture needs to sit with after everything that's come out. When does the code stop being a shield and start being a trap? The principle that says you never cooperate with law enforcement under any circumstances, even as the victim of a kidnapping, even with a gun pressed to your head. That code does not protect the people who follow it. It protects the people who prey on those followers knowing they will never talk. POOH Shiesty's story is not just about one catastrophically bad decision. It's about what happens when extraordinary talent gets locked inside a value system that offers no legitimate survival path. It's about fathers and sons, about what gets inherited without knowledge or consent, about what a child carries forward from a parent's choices made before they were old enough to understand them. It's about a music industry that has
See, POOH Shiesty's daddy, brought him in his street life, influenced him in a negative way. That's POOH Shiesty's daddy. POOH Shiesty's mother said, you need to go confront Gucci. You need to take your daddy and Big 30 and confront Gucci about your money. You need to go up there and confront him. All these hood chicks and these dumb hood ninjas convinced POOH Shiesty that confronting Gucci would be the best thing to do. Robbing people at gunpoint, forcing Gucci to sign them out of the contract. They truly believe that was a great idea. That's what happens when you got a bunch of hood ninjas who don't understand business around you. They're going to convince you that crashing out is somehow a great idea. My God.
When does the code stop being a shield and start being a trap? The principle that says you never cooperate with law enforcement under any circumstances, even as the victim of a kidnapping, even with a gun pressed to your head. That code does not protect the people who follow it. It protects the people who prey on those followers knowing they will never talk. POOH Shiesty's story.
If Gucci don't testify and say that POOH Shiesty robbed him at gunpoint, POOH Shiesty gets out of that contract and Gucci loses millions. The only way Gucci can use the rest as legal defense, he would have to testify and say that POOH Shiesty, his daddy, and Big 30 robbed him at gunpoint and forced him to sign a contract. That's the only way he can use that as legal defense. We're talking about duress. You signed it under duress. Gucci would have to confess. Gucci would have to testify to protect this contract. If Gucci don't testify and say they held him at gunpoint, Gucci loses millions. Pooh Shiesty walks away up out of that contract. But at the same time, Pooh Shiesty still got to face armed robbery charges. Why? Because those white guys will testify in court. They're not going to let that slide. Those white guys have no loyalty to the streets. They're going to come to court and testify. And on top of that, these idiots were dumb enough to post the jury from the armed robbery on social media. They were dumb enough to do it. They're going to prison regardless. Even if Gucci don't say nothing, they're still going to prison. Gucci ain't got to testify for these guys to go to prison. The white guys who got robbed will testify to send Pooh Shiesty and his crew to prison. Gucci got to make a decision, though, to protect his contract. He's going to have to testify to protect his contract. That's a fact. I'm just saying. Cold in the game, Jack, realer than rap.
Here's the real question the culture needs to sit with after everything that's come out. When does the code stop being a shield and start being a trap? The principle that says you never cooperate with law enforcement under any circumstances, even as the victim of a kidnapping, even with a gun pressed to your head. That code does not protect the people who follow it. It protects the people who prey on those followers knowing they will never talk. Pooh Shiesty's story is not just about one catastrophically bad decision. It's about what happens when extraordinary talent gets locked inside a value system that offers no legitimate survival path. It's about fathers and sons, about what gets inherited without knowledge or consent, about what a child carries forward from a parent's choices made before they were old enough to understand them. It's about a music industry that has exploited young artists from environments with no safety net for decades and rarely offers clean exits. And it's about how close a person can get to a genuinely different future before they make the decision that closes that door permanently. The music was there. The comeback was completely real. The streets were riding with him hard. 9 days, gang. 9 days. Drop your thoughts in the comments. You think Gucci genuinely snitched, or was that off-duty cop always going to be the one who brought the whole thing down regardless? You think Pooh's father's documented history changes how you see this entire situation? Where do you stand on all of it? Let me know.
Oh, man. Hey, man. Hey, man, bless the like button if you haven't already. This is cold right here, man. I'm going to show you something. Hey, homie, this is Pooh Shiesty's mama. This is his mama. Oh, that drama. Oh, yeah, mama.
He protected them. He kept them humble. He kept them 100 and kept away from around some suckers and pluckers. I prayed for them, man. My young nigga looks so good, man. My whole family here. Do you know how good that feels? It's hard to get people together. It's hard to get people together and be quiet. But if you fucking play with me, they already know my own 100. Don't listen to these people, man. My own 100, man. I'm too 100.
See, when your mama is ghetto and hood like this, she's going to convince you that doing something stupid makes perfect sense. She's a hood chick from South Memphis. You need to confront Gucci about your money. You need to take Big 30 and your daddy to confront Gucci. You need to confront him. Gucci stole your money. Yeah.
That's what I be talking.
I'm going to play this. I played this yesterday, but it's relevant to the content today. Check this out. This is Pooh Shiesty's mother.
He protected them. He kept them humble. He kept them.
Oh, he protected Gucci and kept Gucci humble. Pooh Shiesty protected Gucci according to Mama Shiesty. She's, man, hey, man, hit the like button.
He protected them. He kept them humble. He kept them 100 and kept away from around some suckers and pluckers. I prayed for them, man. My so good, man. My whole family here. Do you know how good that feels? It's hard to get people together. It's hard to get people together and be quiet. But if you play with me, they already know my own 100. Don't listen to these people, man. My own 100, man. I'm too 100. That's what I be talking about.
She's drunk. She's ghetto and drunk. Trying to say that Pooh Shiesty protected Gucci. He provided protection for Gucci. He kept Gucci humble. This woman is drunk, talking stupid. You need to confront Gucci. You need to get your daddy and Big 30. You need to confront Gucci about your money.
Gucci stole 25 million from you. He didn't give you a dime when you got out of prison. We gonna show Gucci that South Memphis is with the business. You need to confront Gucci about your money. See, this is what happens when your mother is ghetto and hood and she convinces you that doing something stupid is somehow the right thing to do.
Pray for them, man. Man, so good, man. My whole family here. Do you know how good I feel? It's hard to get people together. It's hard to get people together and be quiet. But if you play with me, they already know my own 100. Don't listen to these people, man. My own 100, man. I'm too 100. That's what they be talking about. Lying and deceit going against me. I'm too 100, man. 100 on a whole nother level, though. I switch. I'll be 0.
Yo, nah, this story just got way deeper than people first thought, because while the internet is running with this whole Gucci owes Pooh $25 million narrative,
his mother says that Gucci made $24 million while he was in prison, didn't give him one brown penny while he was in prison. When he came home, he didn't get nothing. So they called a business meeting for him to fly to Dallas. He came to Dallas with his white boy cameraman, his off-duty police officer, security guard, and POOH, SHIESTY, his daddy, and by the stepmother, kidnapped him, robbed him, kicked him.
But why they do that to Gucci? Why they do it?
Well, they were mad because they feel like he made all that money and didn't give him none. And he showed up and said he couldn't pay them because they were broke. So they forced him at gunpoint to sign or to release him from a contract.
what's really making this go viral is the timeline. And honestly, when you line everything up, it starts to feel like social media is building an entire storyline around POOH, SHIESTY and his mother.
When SHIESTY get out? He said when SHIESTY. If I had $5 for everybody that asked me that, it's how rich I be. Rich. Cash out me his bond, then he'll be out. How about that? Here go cash out right here. If you don't see nothing, we gonna remember you when you get out now. Don't be playing about what? You his mom. No, I'm his nanny. They asked me and my Pooh mama, what's my cash out? They said they finna put something on Pooh bond. Come on, send it. If y'all love me, y'all cash out me. My tab already $80. Trying to run it up. You at $35? Get shit. You got this hate bartender. If DM me, I'm gonna tell you when he get out. Cause that's the wrong date. DM me, I'm gonna tell you, daughter. And I'm gonna invite you to the release. Queen, how many people you think we gonna be able to invite? 50. We gonna lay, boy. We gonna, me and Pooh gonna.
And her loyalty to her son. And this is exactly why the internet is so divided right now, because on one side, people are saying that this is simply a mother doing what any real mother would do, standing beside her son through high and every low.
Oh, it's too thick back there. Get all that. You gotta spread all that back there. Oh, my bad. It's your video. I'm just starting in it. Get through there. Come on, get through there. Pop that bomb. And away, Queen.
But on the other side, people online are saying that support may have fueled the entire King Slime image surrounding Pooh. Now let's keep it factual. There's been many blogs that reported that POOH, SHIESTY's mom, Gladys Baines, went live and shared cryptic messages after reports surfaced about Pooh and others being arrested in the alleged Gucci Mane robbery and kidnapping case. What's important is the reports do not confirm she directly said Gucci owes him $25 million. That's important because that specific number is something that the internet started circulating and running with. So right now, that part remains an online allegation and social media narrative. But here's why people are connecting the dots. For years, she has publicly supported her son, Pooh. And when he first came home, she was right there celebrating.
Get your bond. Cause you be my backup dancer. If I buy you some Chick-fil-A, you gonna cut up. You will?
Yeah, I love you dancing like you.
You will? You gonna hear me? Oh, we finna do this TikTok dance. She said I cut up too. That's my boo boo. You got my back? Well, I tell you, when you dress, you sit down and look pretty. Girls in a dress be pretty, okay? Then Ma, you must got a feel. Oh, okay, I do think like Harry too. Cheers to the good life. Meet us at the top. Them ain't out. Them ain't out. Them ain't out right here in living color. Damn, go. One more time. I gotta go. I'm gonna go back downstairs. You don't see Mama? Come on, Bubba. I told you my young nigga was getting out. I told you my young nigga was getting out. I kept.
When he was winning, she was also right there. And everybody remembers when POOH SHIESTY surprised his mom with a $1.1 million home.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You need to confront Gucci about your money. Take your daddy and Big 30 to confront Gucci. Gucci stole $25 million. He didn't give you a penny when you got out of prison. We gonna show Gucci that South Memphis is with the business. You need to confront Gucci about your money.
Oh, Mom. Stop crying, smile. It's smile. Who you pop? I ain't gonna lie. You gotta put my home stand in. Period. Oh my God, look at this break girl. They said, yeah, I'm getting the gate outside and everything. The kitchen got a kitchen. Oh my God. Just shitted on them people.
The internet went absolutely viral. And now online users are trying to piece the timeline together. They're looking at this expensive $1.1 million house. And even right after that, POOH SHIESTY flexing $1 million. And they're wondering if this is part of that $25 million that he allegedly took from Gucci Mane at gunpoint.
No ranch. Tiki, look. No ranch. All blue scripts. All blue cheese. No ranch on here, no. You know what I'm saying? Easy, man. Right back on their ass. Fresh out. Right back in it, man. You don't even feel like I left. She don't even feel like I left. I've been so tight.
So apparently Gucci Mane's been doing POOH SHIESTY dirty, and that's why the mother had put on a cryptic message. And it's $25 million that Charleston White says that the mother alleged is basically the money that's owed to POOH SHIESTY. Apparently POOH SHIESTY was incarcerated, and Gucci Mane was not trying to show no love. And he was just keeping all POOH SHIESTY's money.
They say POOH SHIESTY robbed Gucci Mane, and the main reason behind this is because Gucci Mane didn't look out for Scar when he died. Did you see what POOH SHIESTY said that Gucci ain't give him no money on his books when he was locked?
POOH SHIESTY is going to say, no, they can't say it now because they're fighting the case. But this is the reality behind the scenes. They're not going to say this publicly. POOH SHIESTY feel like he was justified for robbing Gucci because Gucci stole his money. POOH SHIESTY truly believes that he accumulated $25 million when he was in prison, and Gucci didn't give him a damn dime, a damn penny when he got out. Gucci kept all the money, allegedly. This is why POOH SHIESTY's mother and people in POOH SHIESTY's ear told him, Gucci stole your money. Gucci made $25 million off you when you was in prison. You need to confront him. You need to take your daddy and Big 30 to confront Gucci about your money. See, I don't believe that POOH SHIESTY generated $25 million when he was in prison. I don't believe that. You got a bunch of ghetto people who don't understand business in your ear convincing you that robbing Gucci at gunpoint would be the best thing to do. Terrible decision. You're not thinking. You're not making logical decisions. This is why you're going to be back in prison for a very long time. The white boys who got robbed, they're testifying. They had tracking devices in their jewelry. You robbed them, posted the jewelry from the armed robbery on social media. What a bunch of dummies. What a bunch of idiots. You mean to tell me you gonna post jewelry from an armed robbery on social media? You talk about being dumb.
I didn't see that. He said that as well, you feel me? And you see he signed Yo Gotti now. That's what they're saying. Yes, I haven't seen anything official though, right? I haven't seen them together, like no pictures. Man, you know, they trying to kill Yo Gotti right now, so he kind of been laying low, bro. Like,
that's definitely a fact. We've seen reports showing that young Gotti's life is definitely in danger, and so is his family. And so he has been keeping a low profile. But just previously, we did see Yo Gotti connect with POOH SHIESTY, and seemingly as if they were going to connect for a deal. And so the allegations around that is that Gucci Mane was doing everything to prevent him and Yo Gotti closing that deal, and he was not trying to release POOH SHIESTY from his label. With all the allegations and new information that's surrounding this case, it seems that POOH SHIESTY may or may not be guilty. However, his mom is clearly somebody that's going to be there for him regardless, whether it's up or down. And it's clear just from this motivational speech that she's not letting up. So whether we find out this $25 million is a real number and is actually owed to POOH SHIESTY, and whether or not that Gucci Mane was trying to do all of this to prevent POOH SHIESTY from leaving his label and joining Yo Gotti's, everything is going to come out. But anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that his mom is the problem?
So POOH SHIESTY's mother said she birthed King Slam, and she's proud of it. See, what people don't realize is crackheads had crack babies, okay?
Or his mama SHIESTY letting us know what's really going on.
All right, man, let's go to the net. Let's see what Whack 100. Let's see what Whack 100 had to say about this whole situation. Yeah.
The rules of the streets is if you cooperate with law enforcement and give them any information on any name other than yours, then yes, you are a rat. These are the rules of the streets. For the last 5-10 years, everywhere I seen Gucci wasn't the streets. A yacht, an exclusive birthday party, a weekend trip to Vegas where he's locked down in his suite.
Shout out to Jamal for the Cash App. I appreciate you, Jamal, for the Cash App. Much love, my brother. Shout out to Tracy for blessing us with a Cash App as well. Subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up.
Enjoying his friends, to his label. I haven't seen Gucci rolling a blunt, personally. So is Gucci still upheld to the rules of the streets? Is he a Crip? Is he a Blood? Is he a GD, a BD, a Vice Lord? Who does he hang with? I don't believe he hangs with anybody but his wife and his family. I believe he socializes and associates with his business partners and who he deems to be his friends. Listen, everybody better open their eyes up. Just because you playing the game your way, don't be the next man is not gonna play the game they way.
Hey, homie, hey, man, that's Whack 100. That's Whack 100.
If it ain't on TMZ, it ain't true. What you said? Man, I'm back with a motherfucking update, though. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I was trying to defend Gucci Mane there yesterday. But I ain't gonna lie. Hey, Walt. That shit look crazy. Man, I hope this shit is crazy looking at motherfuckers just did some weird paperwork ass or some weird clout chasing ass, but the only thing I can
and this is we gonna hear Finesse 2 Times perspective, and then we're gonna go to my man Urban Politicians and from Houston. Shout out to my dog Urban Politicians and from Houston. He's a great content creator. Shout out to Ant. But let's see. I played this a few days ago, but I want to listen to it again to get, you know, Finesse 2 Times perspective about Gucci snitching and how his wife may have convinced him to. But then again, we don't know if this is true. This is pure speculation at this point. Let's get it.
think of, right, that might be going on. And I told Suge this. I said, is Gucci Mane telling? That's Keisha doing it. That's his wife. His wife making him tell. She's standing on woman time. She's standing because from what I heard, what I know, when shit went down, WAP will fight. WAP went with his move. WAP shit fell off. His watch and his ring fell off while he was going with his move. Wasn't no shots fired. But when he got through scuffling, he told the security, "Where my shit? My shit gone." That's when shit got wild. But it did go left. Shit did get crazy. And what I don't know is, but what it looked like is, if WAP made a statement or not. I don't know if he made a statement, but it looked like it. I ain't gonna lie. That shit looked bad for WAP. Because if you ain't with Scar like you supposed to, I don't think SHIESTY would have did what he did. I don't think he would, if he did it. I don't think he would have went that extent to do that. So if you ain't with Scar like you supposed to, when that man died and the way, and you weren't there for Scar and you weren't there for his family and shit, you wrong for that. But let me give y'all the flip side of it though. This shit business. And in business, they don't care about street dudes. They don't care about street tactics. They don't live by those. They don't do that shit. WAP is business oriented. He don't care for the streets no more. He older now. It's old with. And let me tell you something else. A lot of these out here feel the same way. They just ain't gonna tell you until the opportunity presents itself. You ain't gonna never know that they a snitch until something happened to them that'll make them snitch. A lot of these rappers, a majority of them, especially the ones who be so snitch K, the ones who be so snitch killer, the ones who be so gangster, them be the ones ain't never been placed in a situation to tell on nobody. My would never, man, have me. They don't know what the fuck you would do. Shut the fuck up, bitch. You see what I'm saying? So, I hate that for Gucci. I hate that for SHIESTY. It's ugly, WAP. It's ugly, Wop. That name and that paperwork, like, it's ugly for the streets. But on the flip side, when it comes to being a businessman, a husband, a father, man, my wife probably telling him. Wife, you gotta think about it. What if Wop walked in the house? What if Gucci Man walked in the house, right? What if Gucci Man walked in the house and called 20, 30 niggas and said, man, load up. Niggas got me up. Yeah, meet me in my crib right now. Load them choppers up. Load is up. It's going up. And his wife said, Rachel, you're not finna do this dumb shit. You married. We got kids. We worth X, Y, and Z worth of money. You done made it through this. You done made it through that. You want to do all this shit about a dumb ring or a dumb watch. You want to woo, woo, woo. I'm going to leave this house right now. I'm going to walk away from this marriage. Do you think that man going to sacrifice everything the rest of his life? See, a lot of people live for longevity. Some people, most people, they live for the moment. They live for right now, what they can get done today. I'm behind because I've been to jail so much. But I think 10, 15, 20 years from now, that woman gonna be in that man's life for the next 10, 15 years, 20 years, till they die probably. You ain't never heard about her cheating on him. You ain't never heard about him cheating on her in 5, 6, 7 years. What they tell you? He loved that woman. That woman loved him. She changed him, made him feel better, made him a man. Was there for him when he failed, when he was fighting the feds. And a call it pussy whip, and a say, oh, you whipped. Oh, you tender. You're going to be tender one day when somebody keep it real with you, if you ever get the moment ever find somebody to keep it real with you. If you ever find somebody to keep it real with you, whether you be woman or man, I promise to God, you'll go against your whole family about him. You're going to go against your whole family about him. So guess what? If Wop telling, I ain't going to even lie. Keisha got a lot to do with it. Keisha got a lot to do with it.
He said if Guwap telling, Keisha got a whole lot to do with it. If Gucci Man telling, then Keisha got a whole lot to do with it, according to Finesse 2 Times. So he's saying Keisha is the one that convinced Gucci that snitching will be the best thing. It's Keisha's fault. Well, at the end of the day, Gucci Mane is a man. He got to make the decision. We can't blame it on his wife. Gucci built his whole reputation and brand off of no snitching and no talking to the police. I mean, that's a hardcore fact. A hardcore fact right there. Hit the like button, man.
So guess what? If Wop telling, I ain't gonna even lie. Keisha got a lot to do with
it. Keisha got a whole lot to do with it if Wop telling.
If you ever find somebody to keep it real with you, whether you be woman or man, I promise to God, you'll go against your whole family about him. You're going to go against your whole family about him. So guess what? If Wop telling, I ain't going to even lie. Keisha got a lot to do with it. Keisha got a lot to do with it. She letting that man know. Either it's gonna be this, the streets, or you gonna stand on business.
No.
Or you gonna or your family, me, your kids. You think you gonna throw everything away for a watch and a ring? You gonna fuck us for and shit. You at the end of the day, what you think he gonna choose? As a man though, not a boy. See, boys is the ones who make decisions that please everybody. Man is the one that make decisions that please the inner circle, the family, the brand that helps us. I go do this for one of you. You ain't gonna even be here for me. Ain't gonna send a no commissary. Ain't gonna give a nigga a muffin, a pecan. Ain't gonna give a shit. They still don't make up for making a statement. It's still on you. You too grown, Walt, and you got a whole lot of money. So I know that watching that ring don't mean shit to you. Well, it might mean a lot because it holds sentimental value, but we've been through too much, bro. If you send Pooh to jail like that, like, that'll go against everything that you've been through. Don't send the young nigga to jail, bro. Then again, it's kind of out of Gucci hands. You got the cameraman prison charges. You got the security guard prison charges. Even if Gucci man didn't press charges, man, them young damn near be cooked, man. They got a white boy, a cameraman. Oh, you can't even give him enough money to not say nothing. No. A white boy? Oh, he coming to court. Every court date. He gonna come on a court date that you ain't even supposed to be at. Oh, that white boy, he finna tell it all. That white boy finna do it. If WAP don't do it, that white boy and that security guard, that's what's gonna fry bro them. Even if WAP fall back and don't go with his statement or not. And then in the feds so wicked, he'll try, if WAP was to want to recant his statement, because he made a statement, as I can see, if he wanted to recant his statement and go back and say he ain't say this, the feds would be like, okay, we don't need you no way. And still use his statement. That's how the feds is. So him just saying he don't want to plead guilty, I mean that he don't want to go with that statement and he don't want to testify, the feds don't care. They don't care. They coming to get you. I'm going to take your way all the way to trial. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, man. It's bad. Only people might not get a whole lot of time is probably 30 other young. But I don't think they got long jail histories and shit. They might get 8, 9s, and 10s and shit like that. But bruh, if he get convicted of that shit, if bruh get fucked off, and man, lo and behold, man, he don't have to go through that shit. But if Shiesty get fucked off, and Shiesty get found guilty, man, it's gonna be bad. 30 plus. 25 plus.
30 plus.
It's gonna be bad. Like,
if Shiesty, I agree, it's gonna be 25 to 30. They gonna hit them with the whole ooh-wop. They're gonna throw everything plus the kitchen sink at Shiesty if he get convicted. Why? Because he has priors. He just got out of the feds. So if Shiesty gets convicted, it's gonna be bad. He gonna be looking at 30. You talking about 30 in a penitentiary.
I told y'all, they got something in the feds called relevant conduct. Relevant conduct means if you have ever did anything like the charge that's relevant to the one that you got now, your current charge, with no evidence, they can find you guilty just because of the relevancy, the relevant conduct. They just said, bro, up Drake and pop as it in the Yemen. In this situation, they saying, bro, up Drake and rob niggas. They saying this. This the same situation about the rob. So it's relevancy. It's the same kind of, so even if, put it like this, even with bruh name coming up in it, they gonna try to fry bro. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. They gonna try to fry bro. They gonna try to fry. The daddy too. I heard the dad was out though. The dad on Hunger Family, he said Pop's out. You said Texas don't give a about no first time offender. That's bad. Pops got out. See, if Pops got out, it's because all Pops feeling is old. It's because all Pops feeling is old. He an old nigga, he probably had a clean history for the last 15 years. See, the feds will let you go. Probably on ankle monitor, he probably can't walk past the mailbox. Yup. Damn, I hate that for them folks. We live and we learn, man. Some learn faster than others. Some learn the hard way.
Let's see what hey man, let me know. Get us up to 1,000 likes, man. If we get up to 1,000 likes, I'm gonna drop that link. We need 5 more contributors and we need 1,000 likes. And if you guys feel like that's cool, do so, and I'll drop the link for you guys. But first things first. First things first. Hold on one second.
But
first things first, shout out to Urban Politicians TV. Shout out to Ant out there in Houston for doing this thing. Salute to Ant. We need 5 more contributors and we need 1,000 likes. And if so, we'll drop that link. I'll pull you guys up to speak to give y'all thoughts on the whole situation. No problem. We got 1,700 people watching. Bless the like button. Get the likes up. Let's run the content. Gucci Man sends message. Gucci Man tells everybody that he's not going to cooperate. He ain't snitching. So Gucci ain't telling. That's word on the streets for now. Let's go.
This rapper Big 30 is now on house arrest after he was charged along with POOH SHIESTY last week on kidnapping and robbery charges. But Big 30's attorney says that he expects to appeal. Fox 13 told you this morning that a judge in North Texas ordered POOH SHIESTY's dad, Lontrell Williams Sr., to be brought back to Dallas after he was also granted house arrest in Memphis. Fox 13's investigative reporter Kayla Solomon joins us live downtown at the federal court. Kayla, it was a packed courtroom for today's hearing.
Yeah, Darcy, and a number of them were family members, loved ones, supporters of Big 30. Ultimately, a judge decided to assign him a $100,000 bail amount with standard bond conditions like a curfew as well as an ankle monitor. But I heard from his attorney, Arthur Horn, who tells me he's expecting an appeal soon.
Here's a young man that has turned his life around and is trying to make something of himself, and unfortunately has gotten himself caught up in a situation that has nothing to do with him.
Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, was given a $100,000 bail by a federal judge with standard bond conditions. But attorney Arthur Horn says the fight to keep him out of custody isn't over.
Going to file an appeal, and they're going to appeal the judge's decision, and we will have to have another detention hearing in Texas on the same facts, just like you saw today.
Right.
Oh, man. They want Big 30 back in prison. Yeah.
Of Wright's co-defendants, Memphis rapper Lontrell Williams Jr., or POOH SHIESTY, was signed to Gucci Mane's label 1017 Records. Prosecutors say the incident started when the rapper asked to be released from his recording contract, and Gucci Mane said no. Horn says Big 30 has nothing to do with that.
He has no interest in whether POOH SHIESTY has a contract with 1017 or he doesn't. They're going to make music together regardless.
Horn says he's ready to see how this case plays out in Texas.
I think the interesting thing that we've seen in the last couple of days is that Gucci Mane has come out publicly and said that he's not cooperating with the government.
And it is worth noting that last week we did hear from an FBI agent who said that he had not heard from Gucci Mane either. He also noted that there were no working video cameras inside this recording studio at the time of this incident. Darcy.
That is Fox 13's Kayla Solomon reporting live downtown tonight. Thank you, Kayla.
On top of all that, the rapper known as POOH Shiesty's dad will go back to Texas. Prosecutors told the judge they want Lontrell Williams Sr. kept in custody. In the next week, they say they'll have to file a release order and have it revoked. In the meantime, the judge ordered Williams Sr. to be taken to Dallas. Williams Sr. will file a response the week after that.
Yo, it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in, and I had the links in the description where you can watch these clips in the beginning in full from Fox 13 Memphis, and also Action 5, where they kind of went over POOH Shiesty's father's bond regulations, as he has to come out here to Texas now, where he was granted bond in Memphis, but in the Texas situation, he's going to have to go through a whole nother process to get that. And I'm going to get into this write-up in just a second from TMZ to kind of highlight some of the topics as they spoke with
Shout out to Ant-Man from Urban Politicians TV.
30's lawyer and POOH Shiesty lawyers Brad Cohen, who we've seen in this game plenty of time defend other celebrities. And I would have got to this topic right here yesterday, but I was tied up, had other videos, I was moving, doing some things, running some errands, but I wanted to make sure I came and gave that update, as y'all heard right there. That was 30's lawyer. He said out his own mouth, I didn't see it, but he claims that Gucci said that he is not cooperating with the federal government in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, we seen them statements from the federal complaint that they put out there. So they said that he identified Shiesty and he identified 30, but I got to come on here and update that and make sure I have that on the platform as well, that he said he is not cooperating at all. They are saying that a lot of stuff has been put together by the feds. We did see the update that there was no physical evidence in the form of a video that can be found of them doing this robbery. Then they also said that they don't have Big 30's phone, which they accused Big 30 of recording this as a form of like, hey, we're going to put this out there as in Gucci saying this on camera so he can't come back and say he didn't sign this contract. That's the alleged motive.
Well, they're saying that Gucci already made a statement. Maybe Gucci felt the pressure from the streets. He didn't want to be labeled a snitch, so he retracted his statement. But guess what? They're saying that Gucci already made a statement. But now Gucci is saying he's not going to cooperate. He's not going to testify. He going to keep it hood. He going to keep it to the streets. Huh? Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments.
Right here when it comes to accuse Big 30 of recording this as a form of like, hey, we gonna put this out there as in Gucci saying this on camera so he can't come back and say he didn't sign this contract. That's the alleged motive of this thing right here when it comes down to it. And the write-up says this: POOH Shiesty and Gucci Mane were definitely involved in a situation the day Gucci was allegedly kidnapped at gunpoint. But the story told in the federal complaint could be a tall tale, at least according to attorneys representing two of the defendants. One of the lawyers, Arthur Horn Jr., who represents rapper Big 30, tells us his client will be pleading not guilty to the charges and denies all allegations against him in charging documents. Horn says clearly there was a situation between POOH Shiesty and Gucci Mane, but he insists Big 30 only went to the studio with POOH to make music. Horn says Gucci was in Dallas and popped into the studio, claiming there was a conversation that didn't go well between POOH Shiesty, his dad, Lontrell Williams Sr., and Gucci, according to the government. The federal complaint says POOH wanted out of his contract with Gucci, so he and his cohorts ordered Gucci at gunpoint to sign off on his release papers. Horn says it's alleged that while POOH was in prison, Gucci made roughly $25 million on POOH's music. We reached out to POOH's attorney, Bradford Cohen, who tells us the prosecution case against POOH may not hold up to close inspection, saying we're going to examine the accuracy of the statements from alleged victims in the complaint and what those individuals allegedly told them. He added, I'm not sure those individuals said what is said in the indictment. So all that is angled to, the feds ran with some things. Did they really say this? Were the police called right away? That's what I don't know. Innocent until proven guilty for all parties involved. What they do have is them at the location. They also found the hoodie for one of the guys that was on camera. We see them with watches and stuff all in the photos, so that's pretty much that for that. But they have federal conspiracy. Y'all know what them conspiracies mean, where they just get you close to the fact, they'll run you down through there. That's how the feds get down with these type of things. But at the same time, you got lawyer money. Hey, fam, y'all ain't got no physical this. Y'all don't got no video of this. Y'all got they word versus mine. Where's the proof at? And then did Gucci and them and really say this? So it's just a lot of things going on. I want to make sure I got all sides.
All right, man. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Yeah, man, I think we done enough on this one. Shout out to Steffi for the Cash App. I appreciate you, Steffi. You always showing love to your boy. Much love to your sister. I appreciate you for your love and support. She said, support Red. Much love and respect. I got love for you, sister. You know, in a major way. I appreciate you for always supporting my platform, right? Shout out to my homegirl, Steffi. She's a moderator, right? Salute. Appreciate it. You know, shout out to everybody that's been sending that major love to the platform, man. Whether you hit the like button, you're subscribing to the channel, you're sharing the content, you support by Super Chat, you support by Cash App. Hey, man, it's all gravy, baby. Excuse me. It is all gravy, baby. They don't have no evidence. Guns, no jury. What do you mean they have no guns, no jury? They posted the stolen jewelry on social media. What do you mean there's no evidence? You sound crazy. These dudes posted the jewelry from the armed robbery on Instagram. What are you talking about? Plus, you got white boys who are eyewitnesses who are going to cooperate and say, yes, he's the one that pointed the gun at me and robbed me of my jewelry. Then he got the nerve to post it on the internet. There's no evidence. When you posted the jewelry from the armed robbery on social media, man, you crazy. They don't have no evidence. Man, you crazy, bro. You know? No, man, they ain't got no evidence, Red. These dudes posted the video of the stolen jewelry from the armed robbery. Then the white boys who got robbed of their jewelry, they're going to cooperate in court. They're going to testify. Lord Jesus. The white boys got robbed of their jewelry at gunpoint. They're going to testify and point the finger. The white boys looked at those videos that was posted on Instagram and said, that's my jewelry. These black guys robbed us at gunpoint and stripped us of our jewelry. Then they posted it on Instagram. And you talking about there's no evidence. Man, you crazy. You crazy, bro. I don't know what drugs you over there taking. I don't know what type of drugs you over there smoking or snorting. They posted the evidence live on Instagram. The jewelry had a tracking device on it. Do you know when they robbed those white boys of their jewelry, they was able to track their movements when they left the studio because the jewelry had a tracking device on it. And they posted it, and they posted videos of the jewelry. But you mean to tell me there's no evidence? Them white boys ain't got no loyalty to the streets. They're gonna snitch. They're gonna testify. Please think about what you're saying before you say it. Oh, man, they ain't got no evidence for real, my nigga. You ain't got no evidence. Man, please.
Until proven guilty. The feds jumped out there, got everybody talking, including myself. I got to sit back and see and say what's what now. POOH SHIESTY most definitely on another level. The music is going even crazier now. And then also you see Big 30 was on the yard. Somebody put that video out. It was all over Twitter and the blogs yesterday. People were sending it to me. I said, wow, what is really happening? All this is being seen in real time. 21 Savage had jumped out there, was jamming first day out. You knew what that was going to do on the blogs. And he came back and said, nah, that ain't that. I'm just listening to the music. That's all it was. It wasn't even that. But I'm like, boy, you know that people was going to jump out there and say like you choosing the side or something of that nature. Let's keep it all the way 100. I'll keep y'all updated on everything that's coming with this. POOH is going to have his day in court and we'll see what's what. Stay on your pivot. Tap into that Urban Politics TV Patreon. Got some more videos on there. That's
all right, man. This is going things up, man. I appreciate you guys for pulling up, man. When you rob somebody of their jewelry and the jewelry has a tracking device, do you guys know when they robbed these white boys of their jewelry, they was able to track all of their movements when they left the studio with that jewelry that had a tracking device, and they was dumb enough to post the stolen jewelry on Instagram? The feds was able to track all of their movements because the jewelry had a tracking device on it. You post a video. You sound crazy. Them white boys ain't got no loyalty to the streets. They're gonna testify in court for sure. They not gonna let these black dudes get away with robbing them of their jewelry. You damn right they gonna point the finger in court and tell. To make sure that you do a long time in prison. Capital punishment, 100%. Anyway, man, we're gonna get up out of here. Peace, love, and blessings, giving you gain to keep you from stressing. Make sure that you bless that like button. It's King Supreme. Subscribe to the channel. Hey, man, we got dope content, man. We're gonna continue to pop out. We're gonna continue to push out this dope content. Make sure that you guys hype the video when it uploads to YouTube. Bless the like button. It ain't nothing. Subscribe to the channel. It's King Supreme. I'm signing off, man. I'm gone. Peace to everybody.